Hello, everyone. I just want to come to you real quickly as I've heard some reports about a statement that President Trump made during his state address about him being anointed or being called by God or being saved by God in regards to the day that we live in. I believe that his words were to the effect of when there was that attempt upon his life to unalive him during his rally, during his campaign period. And we all saw that on TV where the bullet grazed his ear, but there was subsequently a couple of people who were unalive from that day when he was at a rally for his election. So, yes, I do believe that he is a man for this very moment, and and quite possibly being used by the Most High. I believe actually he is being used by the Most High, but not for what you think. Not every person that is being used by the Most High in this moment in time is being used for means that will that bespeak of their goodness. No, sometimes the Most High can use the ways of the wicked in order for the way for her aims to come out to fruition that will be the good of her people. And this is what I believe that's taking place, that he may be the man to bring about the complete collapse of the world that has been built by white supremacy, or the ideologically very vicious and violent stance that be due to your skin color solely, not the content of your character, but just your skin color, your hair texture, your eyes color, that then you can deem yourself superior. That has got to be the most profane notion of any type of club and the status of that club that humanity has ever known. And so, yeah, it could be well indeed that he is a man of his time. Why? Because of the arrogance of such a disease as white supremacy and whiteness, a disease that has infected all peoples, and to the degree that they falsely believe in something that they're not, which is the supreme being. They're not the supreme being at all, not even on this planet, not even as human beings. Clearly, they're not. And to those who feel inferior because these people have been allowed to be in power for so long, or what for us as human beings seems so long. Of course, with the Most High and the angels, the way that they perceive time, one would have to concede is different. Their perception is different than ours. That is to not negate what we as human beings and imperfect human beings experience on this time plane or this time shift, which is now in its final moments of closing. It says that news happens overnight, and what we are witnessing at the very moment that the news that has been happening has been cataclysmic news. It has been life-changing, dimension-altering, world-crumbling news. And so with all the many hits that this world has received, and I'm talking about the world of the European, there is no way that it is going to be able to survive, let alone even try to stand. No way it's going to be able to stand, let alone survive. Excuse me. And so we are now in the final moments of what we have been suffering as the true Hebrew Israelites of the world, those that have been given a promise of New Jerusalem. I keep saying this because it must be said since we're in such a very dark moment in human history. And it will culminate, it is already doing so, into Armageddon. Now, what will be that final lighting or final switch, and when it goes full blown to however many regions on this planet that it will touch, I still do not know. but one can deem by just looking over the landscape that it's probably not too far ahead of us right now. And it only takes one thing. It really does. It really takes only one little strike of that match to set everything ablaze. And this administration has been doing so much scratching of matches and so much lighting of of uh, of gasoline, so to speak, that it could happen any day now. And I know that we have been through so much already, especially as a people of Yah. We have seen everything and then some, and then rinse and repeat. But there is just something different in the air and something different about the planet that everyone, whether you be black, whether you be white, whether you be yellow, whether you be beige or somewhere in between, that everyone has taken notice. And so that could be the linchpin of it all. And as we travel through what could be the final moments of European, American, or Western hegemony, let us understand that we as a people have a measure of protection that we will come through it. Now, there are some of us, and we're probably in the minority, or they're not us, but they are probably in the minority, those who have been our staunch betrayers, those who have been Judas to us. I don't know if they will pass through these final moments, if they will come through Armageddon. I will not be surprised if they don't. And quite frankly, I would trust the Most High good decision if they do pass through the veil. But there seems to be a lot of scriptures that people have been pointing out that they will not. They are going to be in the minority versus the whole of the Hebrew races, okay? And I'm talking about the 12 tribes. There will be more of us surviving these moments and being carried away into the Exodus and landing in New Jerusalem than the few who will not. All right. So, and many of them, we probably already know who they are, because when you submit yourself to the great Satan in the way that these people have set it up for you to do, you kind of know who they are. They make you famous, they make you rich, even if you're in front of a pulpit. So I don't think it's going to be a great surprise to us. I don't think there's going to be any secrets or outliers that, if they do go into the final phase of this world by being unalived, then I think that when the names are called, we'll probably go, oh, kind of knew that would happen. So people who have been deceived, and people who have been powerless, and people who have done stupid stuff because of stupidity, these persons are not marked in the way of somebody taking an oath, of somebody being like on the Epstein files, right? He's not the only one, but someone engaging in that. You know what you're engaging with. If they have not turned around, if they have not recovered and did some type of recovery and some type of repentance that was a process for them to change into a new being, then they probably would go by the wayside. But again, it's not going to be the majority. I know a lot of us who, I don't know for what reason, we want people who have been totally beat down, who don't know who they are, who have had wounds that no other man on planet Earth that has ever had to suffer. Why they would want them to just be done away with. I don't. I think sometimes I think in our illness from suffering from racism, sometimes we exhibit hate, self-kind without really realizing that's what we're exhibiting. We want our fellow man to go down and not understand the sickness that they're in. That's different than what has been taking place in the upper echelons of power, where we may see one or two of us who have gone the way of giving their souls over versus just your average everyday Joe who is totally powerless to have moved in any other way. So I think that the Most High is far more exacting, okay, but not on the side of negativity, on the side of, is this person, if given a different set of circumstances, would this person do something different? And what we're going to find is that most of us, yes, we would have done something different. And that the things that have been done is because we are backs up against the wall. We have no other choice. We are not positioned in a way that everybody else has been positioned, immigrants and white folks. And so we cannot be judged by that bar. But there are a few of us who have willingly gone into the ways of Satan and the demons. And so, or some of our people actually. And so they will be dealt with in the manner in which they will be dealt with. They too may even come through it. You know, they too may even come through it, and then they will be dealt with Christ's kingdom administration. And quite frankly, I think that it is said in many sacred texts that many people are going to prefer to be unalive than to be under such a kingdom that is dealing with rightness and dealing with being upstanding and deal with producing justice, because so long have people profited off of being unjust and being unwise and willingly so, and being cruel and being mean and just being all kinds of things. But it's going to be on an individual basis. So I think that we need to, take a step back and kind of look holistically about what is being said in the holy scripts, the many books that are out there that denote our plight, denote what we have suffered, and how we will be redeemed. All right, we have a wonderful moment ahead for us, and it can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned. And to whatever end to which needs to come, I think as a people, something must be said about our silence and our sitting down and not raising Cain out there to give our spirit over to this country. And there's far more of us that have sat down than have taken to the streets. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's nearly all of us who have done so. And I think that that is a signal and a sign of how many people will actually be going into New Jerusalem. Thank you for listening. And hold on, brothers and sisters. I don't think it's going to be much longer. And yes, believe that this man is a man of his time, but not in the manner in which they are stating in a way of being praised and bringing good. No, he's probably presiding on the final moments. And it makes sense because he is part of the oligarchy. And he's also, and I'm talking about the president, he's also been rich all his life. He has no clue as what it is to be an average American. And he's also been up in that world that has been in direct communication with the invisible spirits that have caused so much destruction and pain and violence upon this planet. So, again, take that into account, and I'll see you on the next one.